Hi, welcome to the Gemara on Yetzer Amud. We're beginning immediately after the Mishnah on that Amud, and the Gemara is going to discuss the issue of cheresh, of a deaf person reading Megillah. Man Tana cheresh diavad nami lo. Who is the Tana who teaches that a cheresh cannot read even b'diavad? In other words, the Gemara assumes that when the Mishnah says that a deaf person can't read Megillah, that means that even if they read, and it's after the fact, they've already read Megillah, we would still say, even b'diavad, that reading was not valid, and you'd have to go attend another reading in order to be yotzei your mitzvah. So the Gemara assumes that that's the position of the Mishnah and says, who is the Tana who holds this way? Here's the answer. Amar of Matna, Rabbi Yossi. This is consistent with the position of Rabbi Yossi. Titznan, as we learned in the Mishnah, Hakoret Shema v'lo hishmi'a lo no yatsa. If you read Shema and you have not made it heard to your ear, it's not audible to you, you have fulfilled your obligation. Rabbi Yossi Omer lo yatsa. But Rabbi Yossi says, nope, you're not yotzei. So that seems to match the position in our Mishnah, at least according to the Gemara's understanding. The Gemara is saying that just like Rabbi Yossi here says lo yatsa, and Rashi tells us that this lo yatsa is diavad hu, even b'diavad. Even after you've said Shema that way, and you're like, oops, I forgot to make it heard to my ears, you're still not yotzei, and the Gemara assumes that this is Rabbi Yossi both here and in our Mishnah, consistently saying lo yatsa even b'diavad. But now the Gemara is going to challenge that. Umi ma'id Rabbi Yossi hi b'diavad nami lo? Question mark, exclamation point. From what did you get that this is actually Rabbi Yossi, and that even b'diavad you're not yotzei, right? Why do you think that? There's another possibility. Dilma Rabbi Yehudahi. V'lachatchila hu delo. Hadi'evet shapir dami. Maybe our Mishnah really reflects the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, and it's only lechatchila that the cheresh can't read. Meaning, if the cheresh said to you, "Can I read?" you'd say no. Hadi'evet shapir dami. But b'diavad shapir dami, it's totally fine. But b'diavad, if he already read, so we say, okay, you did it, you're yotzei. Just don't do it again. So maybe our Mishnah actually matches that position, and that's what our Mishnah is really saying, and our Mishnah is really Rabbi Yehuda. But this challenge gets rejected. Lo salkazatzach. Don't think this. Don't think this way. Tikatani, because it teaches us, meaning our Mishnah teaches, cheresh dumya de shotev katan. Cheresh, just like shotev katan. Ma shotev katan diavad nami lo, af cheresh diavad nami lo. Just as shotev katan can't read, even b'diavad their reading is not accepted, so too, cheresh, even b'diavad their reading is not accepted. And the reasoning behind this is that shoteh and katan are in a different category of mitzvot. Shoteh and katan are generally not obligated in mitzvot at all, whereas cheresh often is. And a katan for sure can't fulfill your obligation because they're not obligated. So the Gemara is saying, no, it can't be that our Mishnah is like Rabbi Yehuda, who says l'chadchila you'd be yotzei, because you can't be yotzei with somebody who's not obligated, and cheresh is grouped with these other people who aren't obligated. V'dilma hakati'ita v'hakati'ita. Well, the rejection of this opinion is rejected. We say maybe this is as it is, and this is as it is, meaning just because cheresh is grouped with shoteh and katan, you don't have to say that the psak din is the same for both of them. Maybe cheresh l'chadchila is fine, but b'diavad isn't, and shotev katan are even b'diavad not okay. So the Gemara is going to try to prove again that our Mishnah isn't like Rabbi Yehuda. Midikatani seifa Rabbi Yehuda machshir b'katan. Michlal dereisha lav Rabbi Yehuda. From the fact that it teaches, that the end of the Mishnah teaches that Rabbi Yehuda allows a katan to read, Rabbi Yehuda is okay with the katan reading. Michlal de, this teaches us that, and we learn from here that the reisha, the first part of our Mishnah, must not be like Rabbi Yehuda. Right? The fact that it specifies that the end is like Rabbi Yehuda means that the beginning is not like Rabbi Yehuda. But now the Gemara is going to challenge this rejection of the idea that our Mishnah is like Rabbi Yehuda. V'dilma kula Rabbi Yehuda. Maybe our whole Mishnah is like Rabbi Yehuda. Why can't our whole Mishnah be like Rabbi Yehuda? But the Gemara rejects this idea again and says, Midami reisha l'psula v'seifa l'kshera. Question mark, exclamation point. How can you possibly say that the beginning of the Mishnah and the end of the Mishnah are both Rabbi Yehuda? They contradict each other. The beginning of the Mishnah says that a katan cannot read, and the end of the Mishnah says that a katan can read. So once again, it seems impossible to say that that first part of our Mishnah about cheresh reflects the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. But the Gemara defends this idea again. V'dilma kula Rabbi Yehuda. No, maybe really our whole Mishnah is like Rabbi Yehuda. V'trei gavne katan katanila. And the Mishnah is teaching us about two different kinds of katan. V'chesure mechasra v'hachi katani. And the Mishnah is just missing information, and this is actually what it says. Meaning the Gemara is giving you a new version of the Mishnah. Hakol ksherin likrot et Megillah, chutz mecheresh v'katan. B'med dvarim amurim, about what is this being said? B'katan shelo hagiya l'chinuch. It's about a katan who has not yet reached the age of being educated. Aval b'katan shehigiya l'chinuch, afil l'chachila, sh'Rabbi Yehuda machshir b'katan. But a katan who has reached the age of education can read Megillah even l'chachila, meaning even if they say to you, can I read? You say, sure, go ahead. Because Rabbi Yehuda allows a katan. Gil chinuch, or katan shehi gil chinuch, Rashi defines for you as age 9 or 10. So at that age, they're able to be educated to do mitzvot. Before that, they're not. And again, this rewriting of the Mishnah is one that would say that the Mishnah is entirely consistent with the position of Rabbi Yehuda. And then we would say that a cheresh cannot read l'chadchila, but b'diavad it's okay. B'mayo kim to Rabbi Yehuda v'diavad. But now the Gemara challenges this idea. But how could you say that this is actually, how could you uphold it as, how could you interpret our Mishnah as Rabbi Yehuda and b'diavad, meaning that our Mishnah is consistent with the position of Rabbi Yehuda, and that b'diavad, the cheresh is allowed to read. How could you really say this? Ela hadatani, Rabbi Yehuda bereid Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi, cheresh hamidaber ve'ino shomea torem l'chadchila. What about that which is taught, or we have this breita that teaches a cheresh who speaks but can't hear can take truma even l'chadchila. Truma, it's a form of tithing, and you have to make a bracha when you do it. Rashi tells you this. And this opinion says they can do it even l'chadchila, even though Rashi points out, even though they won't hear the bracha that they're making. They'll be making the bracha and not be able to hear it. Even l'chadchila, even initially, that's totally fine. If the cheresh asks, can I do this? You say, yeah, sure, it's fine. So we have this breita. So what's the problem with having this breita? Why would that show us that our Mishnah can't be like Rabbi Yehuda? Mani. Whose opinion does this breita reflect? Rabbi Yehuda. If it's Rabbi Yehuda, diavad in l'chadchila lo. So we've already said that the position of Rabbi Yehuda in cases of deaf people is that b'diavad it's okay, but l'chadchila it's not okay. But that's not what this breita says. This breita says that it's okay l'chadchila. So it can't match with Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yossi, diavad nami lo. And if we were to say Rabbi Yossi, well, Rabbi Yossi is the guy who always says that a cheresh, even b'diavad, isn't yotzei. So this breita is a problem because it doesn't match with the way we've defined Rabbi Yehuda, and it doesn't match with the way we've defined Rabbi Yossi. Ve'elamai, Rabbi Yehuda va'afil l'chadchila. So, what can we say about this? Elamai, what would you like to say? I think is the best way to translate elamai. Right? Rather, what? What is it that you want to say about this? Like, you're bringing this to me as a challenge, so what are you trying to say? Rabbi Yehuda va'afil l'chadchila. Are you trying to say that, Rabbi Yehuda, that this is Rabbi Yehuda, and even l'chadchila, it's okay? Ella hadatanya, we're going to bring yet another breita. So rather, we have this breita that was taught about a different topic. Lo yivarech adam birkat hamazon b'libo v'im birach yatsa. A person can't say birkat hamazon internally, meaning without making it heard. But if they did, b'diavad, they're yotzei. Mani. Whose position is this? Lo Rabbi Yehuda, but lo Rabbi Yossi. It's not Rabbi Yehuda, and it's not Rabbi Yossi. Why not? Rabbi Yehuda, afil l'chadchila. Because if it were Rabbi Yehuda, again, Rabbi Yehuda keeps saying that things are, if you would say that it's Rabbi Yehuda, then it should be okay lechatchila. V'i Rabbi Yossi afilo diavad nami lo. And if it's Rabbi Yossi, then even b'diavad, it's not okay. In other words, what just happened is we said, okay, so we have this breita about truma, and you seem to want to say, right? You who's defending the idea that it could be Rabbi Yehuda, you seem to say that maybe Rabbi Yehuda allows people to do things without being able to hear them, even l'chadchila. But in that case, what about this breita about Birkat Hamazon? So you'd have to say that if you want to say it's Rabbi Yehuda, you'd have to say he allows it even l'chadchila, and Rabbi Yossi doesn't allow it even b'diavad. So you push them to the two extreme positions. And we have a mismatch. We can't line up all of the Tannaitic sources. So the Gemara goes on. L'olam Rabbi Yehuda. No, it's for sure Rabbi Yehuda, meaning the breita about truma, which is the one that was problematic for us, that is for sure consistent with Rabbi Yehuda, which means that our Mishnah is Rabbi Yossi. Right? Our Mishnah is Rabbi Yossi because the breita about truma doesn't match our Mishnah. V'afil l'chadchila. And even l'chadchila, it's okay. Meaning Rabbi Yehuda really does hold that extreme position that even l'chadchila, it's okay. V'lo kasha, and it's not a problem. There's no difficulty. Hadidei, hadirabe. Literally, this one is his, and this one is his rabbi's. Meaning the breita about truma is his own opinion, is Rabbi Yehuda's own opinion. And Rabbi Yehuda consistently holds, we're now being told, Rabbi Yehuda consistently holds that when deaf people do things, it's okay even l'chadchila. And Hadzer Abbei, the breita about Birkat Hamazon, is his teacher's opinion. And his teacher is the one who holds that when a deaf person does it, it's not okay l'chadchila, but it is okay b'diavad. And just to look at the Rashi on Zer Abbei, Mishmod shel Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Amra. It was said in the name of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, who was Rabbi Yehuda's teacher, Shetzarich lahashmiya, v'hai lishna mashma l'chadchila vel diavad yatsa, that you have to make it heard, and this language suggests that l'chadchila you have to make it heard, but b'diavad you're yotzei. So we now have three different positions. We have Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Yehuda's teacher, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Titania, here's something that proves this. A breita that proves this. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Mishum Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Hakoret Shema tzarich sheyashmiya le'ozno. If you read Shema, you have to make it heard to your ears. Shena Amar Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Because of this language of Shema. You have to make heard to your ears that which comes out of your mouth. Rabbi Meir Omer, Asher Anochi Mitzavcha Hayom Al Lavecha, right? A different quote, also from Shema. Achar Kavanat Halev Hen Hadvarim. Following the kavanah of your heart, that's that which you intend. Those are the things. So meaning, he thinks that this pasuk of Al Lavecha teaches that you actually don't have to make it heard, right? You can say it sort of more internally. Whereas Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says, no, the fact that it says Shema Yisrael means that you have to make it heard to your ears. Hashta da'atit lahachai, afilo tema Rabbi Yehuda. So now that we've gotten to this point, meaning now that we've quoted this breita that includes the position of Rabbi Meir, which we didn't know before. So now we're in kind of a different place. So that's what Hashadati Lahachi literally means, now that we've gotten to this point. So now that we've gotten to here, Afilo Tim Rabbi Yehuda, Kirabe Sphirole. You can even say that Rabbi Yehuda holds like his teacher, meaning holds like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, that l'chadchila it's not okay, but b'diavad it is okay. V'hadatani Rabbi Yehuda b'reider Rishon ben Pazi, Rabbi Meir here. And the breita about truma that's quoted in the name of Rishon ben Pazi, that is actually the position of Rabbi Meir. So at this point, we would say that Rabbi Meir is the one who says that it's okay even l'chachila. Rabbi Yehuda is the one who says that it's okay b'diavad, and Rabbi Yossi is the one who says that even b'diavad, it's not okay. And those would be the different positions that line up with the different positions with the different Tannaitic positions that we gave. Now the Gemara is moving on. Rabbi Yehuda machshir b'katan. Rabbi Yehuda allows a katan. So we're going to discuss the idea that a katan could actually read Megillah. Titania, Amar Rabbi Yehuda, katan ha'iti v'karite l'malam Rabbi Tarfon v'zakenim belod. So we have a story from Rabbi Yehuda himself, and he says, I was a minor, I was not yet bar mitzvah, and I read it in front of Rabbi Tarfon and the elders in Lod. So he has an actual story about doing this, and it sort of proves that it's okay because they let him do it. Amrulo, but the other rabbi said to him, In mevi'in raya min hakatan. We don't bring proof from a katan. It's not a thing. You were a minor when the thing happened, so you can't testify that. Tanya, different Tannaitic proof. Oops, I should put this one in red. Okay. So here's another brayta. Amar Rebbe, katan ha'iti v'kariti l'mala mi Rabbi Yehuda. Amrulo in mevi'in raya min hamatir. So Rebbe said, when I was a minor, I read it before Rabbi Yehuda. So, again, trying again, Rebbe this time says, well, I have a proof I read it in front of Rabbi Yehuda. Amrulo, and the other rabbi said to him, Ein mevi'in raya min hamatir. We don't bring a proof from the permissive one, meaning the fact that you read it in front of Rabbi Yehuda and he didn't stop you doesn't prove anything, because we know that Rabbi Yehuda thinks that a katan can read. It's just we don't think that anybody else thinks that. So these are both rejected as proofs that Rabbi Yehuda is right. The lame rule, so now the Gemara comments on this Tannaitic material. Lame rule, ein mevi'in raya min hakatan. But they should have said to Rebbe the same thing as they said to Rabbi Yehuda, meaning the end of the braytot should have matched. They should have just said to him, we don't bring proof from a katan. Like Rebbe says, I was a minor when this happened. So they could have just said to him, you know what? We don't take proof from a minor. You were a minor when it happened. We don't trust your experiences. Chada v'od ka'amru. They said two things to him. They said one and another one. Meaning what the Brayta is really telling you is that they said two things to him. Chada de katan ha'ita. The first thing is, yeah, sure, they said you were a minor, right? You can't bring proof from a minor. Ve'od, and furthermore, afil gadol ha'ita in mevi'in raya min hamatir. And furthermore, even if you had been old enough, even if you'd been past bar mitzvah age, we still don't bring proof from someone who is the matir. We still can't bring proof from the one where he himself permits it. Okay, that's the end of the Gemara. We'll stop here.